you looking to learn more about your spiritual journey? Are you on a healing journey? Have you tried conventional ways of healing but didn't get the results you desired? If so, this podcast is for you. My name is Reverend Dr. Jackie Cope, and I'm a metaphysical minister, intuitive guide, and teacher. Here at Raven Rabbit, we believe that your ancestors, spiritual guides, and divine self are ready and eager to help you heal and prosper. We approach life, healing, and happiness through a holistic, indigenous spiritual lens to create the lives we want. Join me to radically change your life today. Hi, welcome to the Raven Rabbit Wellness Studio podcast. I'm your host, Reverend Dr. Jackie Cope. We're here at episode 39. The things you do matter. This is an episode that's been floating around in my head for quite some time. I've just been trying to figure out how to articulate it. Best the way I do my podcast is less planning, like less prep, more presence, like I teach in my Transformative Spaces class. Just being here with you. Don't prep so hard and channel. I did a little bit of prepping just to make sure I cover all the things that I want, but I didn't get too deep into my prepping to be with you today in this conversation. I'm so excited you found me. You're here. If you've been a listener, thank you so much. If you're new here, welcome. I reach several different audiences here in my podcast. I'm a multi-passionate person, and I hope and I expect that I'm having conversations with other multi-passionate people. So typically I'm speaking to women, entrepreneurs, teachers, and other spiritual seekers, but the list goes on, and I welcome you into this space. And so before we begin, I'd like to start with an invocation. Dear Creator, thank you for bringing us to this space. Please make me a channel of divine presence, divine energy. May my highest and best come through. I call in our angels, masters, guides in here with us in this conversation today. We open it up to our highest and best. And thank you so much for bringing us together. Help me to speak the truth and help others. So it is. So thank you so much for being here. I wanted to share about my journey of small actions that have shaped my path of success. And I wanted to share about my steps because it's what I have, it's my life experience. But I'm hoping that at the same time, you're thinking about the things that you do. These small things that you might think they're nothing or they're insignificant, they all add up and they all really matter in the grand scheme of finding your soul's purpose or living in alignment or whatever it is that you're searching for. All the little things that you do matter. So, as an only child and a teacher, and now the founder of my business, Raven Rabbit, I've learned that every step counts. I've been really reflective in this season right now. I am fully transitioning from being a classroom teacher into Raven Rabbit full time. And this is something I've been working on for many years. I started Raven Rabbit in 2020 and then officially in 2022 where I got my business license and was really going at it. 2020 was when I was rolling around and playing with the idea. 2022 is when I dove deep and said, okay, let's do it. But since 22, I've been doing Raven Rabbit and teaching and doing a lot all at once. So, difficult path, that's another podcast episode. But I've been doing both. And now I'm in this transition period where I have the means to finally transition to Raven Rabbit education consulting full time. And so I've been really reflective lately, like, wow, look at all the things I've done to get to this point. And so I wanted to share about those things because when I reflect on it and it seems insignificant, some of those moments, it really has culminated into this profound achievement where I'm at right now. So, no matter where you're at in your life, whether you're in a season of really going through it, having a hard time, questioning what you're doing. Maybe you're in a season of great success. Whatever season that might be right now, I want you to reflect on the small things that have brought you there. And if you're in a season of things that are like, doesn't seem aligned, think about what am I supposed to get from this experience that will help me in the long run. Okay. So I have 5 things that I didn't know were adding up to my success. The first one was my childhood curiosity. And so as a child, I was always very curious. I loved to learn. I loved to write as a kid. I had all of the journals, the pens, the stickers. I had all of the things. I loved to write. What I used to write when I was little was little songs and little poems. Um, and through conditioning and through that stuff that happens as you grow up, I kind of lost touch with that stuff for a while. Then in high school, I had a really great English teacher. I started writing again and I found my love for it again, and I haven't stopped since high school. And that childhood curiosity of playing around with my writing led me into writing children's books, being an award-winning author, writing lessons plans, writing for the McGraw-Hill blog, writing articles, getting my poem published in Native News, California Native News. Like, who knew when I was sitting in my classroom writing little songs that it would amount to this whole career path in writing that I really truly enjoy, and I have a great outlet for writing. The other thing with childhood curiosity that's been coming through, I'm being really reflective right now. At this moment, I am currently in the Navajo Nation, consulting with a school here. And so I decided, like, I'm going to camp. I'm not going to stay in a hotel. I'm going to camp and I'll be more comfortable. And so since I grew up camping, I didn't always like doing all of the work associated around camping, but my dad taught me everything, how I'm supposed to hook everything up, how I'm supposed to set up a campground, the trailer, how to tow, all of those things. And at the time, it was like those things were insignificant to me. They were small. I didn't want to know how to do them. I just wanted my dad and mom to do everything. And I just wanted to enjoy the camping. But now that I'm here, I set up my campground by myself for the first time. I've never camped by myself and towed a trailer. And I did it in like 45 minutes. And I thought that was really good. That's like a normal amount of time that it would normally take with my husband and having family. I think it just went by a little like that because I didn't have kids to take care of. Sometimes when we're with the kids camping, it could be a lot of work. But 45 minutes by myself, unhooking the trailer, getting the sewer line hooked up, getting the water line, getting the power, getting the mats out, getting the stabilizers, unhitching the trailer, parking the truck. All of that. I had learned all of that my whole life as a child. And who would have thought that that would serve me in such a way as I got older in this huge success of me coming into my business? Because I think even if my business was like booming and I had all this money, I don't think that I would want to stay at the hotel. Like, I have been so peaceful here. I'm camping next to Monument Valley while I'm out here. And for me, it's just like that spiritual energy of being here, and it's been really clearing for me. And I've been working in a program with another life coach, and we've been working on a certain goal that we're coming to heal. And I really was calling in clarity. And being here in this space with clarity has really just been amazing for me. So, I was talking about 5 things I didn't know were adding up to my success. So that childhood curiosity used to write, and we went camping all the time. And now both of those things serve me in such a high capacity. They are a part of what's making me so successful. The next one was my teaching experience. So um, I always liked being around kids. When I was in Girl Scouts as an older girl, I loved being with the little girls. I loved doing the brownies and the daisies and teaching them their lessons and helping them earn their badges. But when I was a teenager, I was like, I don't want to be a teacher though. Like, that didn't interest me. And but I just liked being around kids and teaching. I just didn't my mom was a teacher, and I know how hard it is in the classroom. I heard all of the teacher talk, and I know how difficult it could be. And so when my dad said, I should go to college to be a teacher, I said to him, why would I go to school my whole life just to go teach at one? That's too much school for one person. Lo and behold, he was right. I did pursue my business degree in college, which I am very happy I followed my intuition on that and did not just listen to what my dad told me to do. That business degree has served me exponentially. But I started working at the children's center while I was in college because I loved being with the kids. And I was like, okay, yes, I need to go get my teaching credential. I need to be with kids. And so I did that. So each class that I've had has just taught me so much. I've been teaching now for 13 years. I started when at the school there at 21 years old when I was teaching at the on campus preschool. And then I taught at a private school. I was a reading specialist. Then I went and taught where I grew up. And that was a huge experience. That's like the majority of my teaching career is teaching where I grew up. And it was so important to me. I like dove into that. And that's a time where I didn't have the boundaries in place. So now we're talking like this toxic work culture. It wasn't what was best for me at the time. Like, if you go back to my 24-year-old self, I was staying at school till like 5 p.m. at night. That's not even that late. Some teachers stay way later, but I'm an early bird. So I'd get there at 7 and I would stay till 5 and I would just be working and working. And then I'd go home and work some more. I would just leave the classroom. I started a Teachers Pay Teachers account when I was 25, 24 years old. And I started selling my lesson plans online. I just, everything about me was living, breathing, eating, teaching, all of it. And it was definitely, I put myself through exhaustion in those 9 years at that school in particular. And I just overdid it. And it was burnout. It did serve me in the long run. I'm not saying burn yourself out, but in the long run, I became a very effective teacher and I know what works and I know what doesn't work. And so when it comes to my education consulting business, I know how to help teachers. I know how to support them. I know what they need to hear or what they want to work on. I know that I need to listen to them because that's the biggest thing. I wish I had somebody to listen to me and then help me with what I was asking for help with instead of just saying, oh, you need to do this because it's a district mandate. You have to do this. So, my teaching experience, all of it, and sometimes being like, man, did I get into the right thing? Is this what I'm supposed to be doing? I don't know. And that's why I went on in my education too, because I'm like, well, I really do love writing. I do love writing lesson plans and creating. And it was all kind of coming together. I was like, oh, maybe I'm supposed to get my doctorates in curriculum and instruction because I need to be writing for the big publishing companies. I'm already a published author. I love lesson planning. I love helping teachers. And so it was all kind of forming together all these little things I was doing. And I started that Teachers Pay Teachers account in when I was 24 years old, and I worked really hard on it. And then when I went through my doctorates in 2016, more like 17, I kind of dropped off the Teachers Pay Teachers because it was just too much. I couldn't manage that and work on my doctorates. And then after my doctorates, I went back to a little bit. I thought I'd dive full into it, and that would be the thing that I would do. And I didn't. But recently, I would say this year recently, somebody's been buying something on my Teachers Pay Teachers account. Like every day I get an email. You sold a product. You sold a product. And I'm like, wow, this is really coming back, like showing me that I was on the right path there and I was doing the right thing. And I definitely want to get back into my Teachers Pay Teachers more and helping teachers with good lessons. I just needed more classroom experience to know what kind of lessons I needed. So, all of my teaching experience was definitely adding up to my success. I probably will not stay in the classroom the rest of my life. I told you I'm exiting right now. I foresee not going back into the classroom at this point in that like a formal capacity as the teacher of roster. I do see myself working with schools and teachers and districts and hopefully the Bureau of Indian Education and working in education in a much larger capacity. And my teaching job was prepping me for that. So right now, no matter where you're at in your career, wherever you're at in that is prepping you for something, even if it's unrelated. I'm a teacher looking to do education stuff. So those things are related. But there's other things you're going to learn from your careers that you have that still apply, that teach you so much. Again, my business degree I talk about, like, that is, they're not related, business and being a teacher, but they are. They're so intertwined, especially since I said, I'm going to make my own business and do this myself and take this on the road. It just came together beautifully. Another thing that was adding to my success was I took a sabbatical. I talked about that in episode, I think, 26 or so, 36, about the discrimination at the workplace. I was facing such a hard time in my teaching career. I was like, I need to take a sabbatical. And at the time, it sounded wild. It sounded crazy. My father wasn't happy. Like, you don't leave your good teaching job. And I was like, I need this separation. So taking that step back allowed me to recharge, gain clarity, and most of all, it showed me what mattered the most to me in education, which is Native education specifically. And during that sabbatical, I just grew. It gave me time to process the 13 years of teaching that were just all there, and I had time to reflect. So I was in this office job, I was a director of education, I was taking all of this knowledge and compiling it together for the tribe I was working for and building their education department. And through that, I was like, wow, look at all of the things I've learned and I know and what I'm capable of. This totally translates to me going out and helping other schools. And that's kind of what I started researching at night, was how do I do this for other schools? And how do I do this for myself and create that freedom for myself within my own business? And so that sabbatical, I didn't know would be such a pivotal thing for me. I knew it was important for my mental health. I needed to take a step back. But basically, I thought I'd take the sabbatical. I'd either love being the director of education and never leave, or I'd be like, okay, I did that. Let me go back to the classroom. Because I knew I was going to love it either way. Everything that happened, if you listen to my brain surgery podcast, like, I was just in a place where I felt like, okay, I need to go back to the classroom. So, I went back to the classroom for a year, and I didn't talk about this. I don't think my son, it was, he needed to go to a specific school within the district, which wasn't his home school where I live and teach. And knowing he had to go somewhere else, which was in the city, we call it going down the hill, I was like, he's not going there by himself. The district needs to transfer me to that school so I could teach where he's going. And so that's what I did. I just threw my name in the hat and was like, send me there. I get what I get. And I got fifth grade. And I had never taught fifth grade. So this is my like challenges part. Like these small things that you don't know, these challenges that you face are adding up to your success. I had a huge challenge of like, I'm a kindergarten teacher. I've been a kindergarten and first grade teacher my whole career. And what am I going to do with fifth graders? That's like a totally different world. And let me tell you, it's a totally different world. And I'm very grateful for that experience because once I had that fifth grade experience, everything came together. I was like, I am ready to help teachers. Now I've had this experience with upper grade students. I get the whole gist of what's going on in a school and what a teacher needs in a higher level capacity and not just in a lower level capacity with lower grades. I understand now. So that challenge of taking on a new grade and returning back to the classroom after everything that has happened to me taught me so much. And I don't think I could be the education consultant I am right now without that fifth grade experience. So much needed, even though it's been one of the most challenging years of teaching of my life. It just, I know how much it's serving me. So there's that overcoming the challenges. And then overcoming the challenges of like, I went through brain surgery and had a baby and got back to working, which was a huge challenge in itself. And when I went back to work, in August, which was only 5 months since my brain surgery, I had to come over challenges every day. One of the first challenges of going back to teaching was like, I don't want to walk with my cane. I need to just walk because I know how relentless fifth graders can be. I need to be able to keep up. They can't see my weakness. They need to see me as an authority figure. And so, first challenge was that first month without my cane was really tiring. I could do it. I would have never done it. I don't suggest pushing yourself like that if you cannot physically, but I knew I was like at the point where I'm like, I'm walking around without it a lot, anyways, at home. I'm ready to like fully leave it. I took it in my car every day just in case because I never knew if I might need it or not. But that was a challenge in itself. Like, I was teaching fifth grade, never taught fifth grade. Let me work without my cane. Let me walk around. And every day was just getting over my brain surgery and postpartum as well. So, like my swelling feet, my swelling legs, I had the postpartum preeclampsia. So, getting over that hurdle, and that's still been a hurdle right now. I'm still on medication for that. And every day, just noticing how much better I got physically and in my health condition. By the time Thanksgiving rolled around, I was like, I finally feel like I'm feeling better. That's the best I had felt since having brain surgery. And then now, being a year out from brain surgery, I am coming back to like my normal self with lots of things, with fine motor skills, with speech. I still have some deficits, but I talked about that in one of my episodes, but that's okay. So overcoming those little challenges every day, it feels like maybe you're not doing a whole lot. Like, oh, I just was walking without my cane, or oh, I just went to work today and did nothing else. That was a huge feat. And if you're doing that too, if all you're doing is the one thing, that's it. You've accomplished it. You're doing so much. So don't let yourself forget that. You are overcoming things in your time, in your divine time, and in your own spiritual way. Which brings me to the last thing that I didn't know would add up to my success is the importance of spiritual alignment. The more I get into spiritual alignment, the more things fall into place as they should be and that are working out for my highest and best. Um, in my business, I've integrated indigenous um, knowledge into my education, and it's really transformed the way I approach my education consulting. So I don't look at a ton, but I do look and research like you're supposed to of people within the field. I look at other education consultants, but I don't go too far down seeing what they're doing because I know that what I'm doing is so different that those ideas and those things are not comparable. If anything, they just show me more of like why I'm needed and my voice is needed in the field because not a lot of people are doing it the way I'm doing it. And the further I get into this education consulting and the further I expand my practice, I know there's people not doing it the way that I do it. But that'll be a podcast for another time because I really want to share that story. I just want to go through the whole experience first before I share. But I know the spiritual side, the spiritual alignment is like nothing else. And it's perfectly aligning everything for my success. So when I started my spiritual journey, and you may be there too when you start it, is it's a very personal thing. You think about it in a very personal way. How is it serving you? How is it going to help you through trauma? How is it going to help you through finding your life purpose? Everything is very egocentric when you start your spiritual path because you're thinking about yourself and your family and how it's affecting you. And then as time goes on in your spiritual path, you're then going to start looking out further. So this gets into our auroric field because first you got you and your body. You have where you're at. Then you go out a little bit further into your auroric field, the people that you're affecting immediately within your space, your family, your kids, your friends, your coworkers, anyone who's interacting with you throughout the day. So you start thinking about your spiritual path in those types of ways, because then you might start approaching problems differently. There is a certain, don't have the right words for it anymore, because it's like, I guess, issue or gossip, like within the school campus. But like when I hear those things now, they do not affect me, and I have a totally different perspective now than what I used to have when it comes to, I guess, coworker relationships or just who you work with. So my spiritual path has taken me to a place where it's like, okay, now I'm viewing that part of my life very differently. And then finally, you get further out in your work field and you start talking about the vibes that you're sending out, the people that you're attracting, the things that you're manifesting, the way the universe is going to interact with you on a larger scale, the things that we can't see, the things that are beyond, that the universe and our subconscious pick up on. And so once that starts getting into alignment, other things start falling into place. So, talking about spiritual alignment with how I got my contract here that I'm doing with education consulting, I was driving home and I heard the universe say, go home, get on sam.gov. There is a contract you need to apply for tonight. You need to like log on, you need to go check. And I was like, oh, I think it was like Monday or Tuesday. And I'm like, oh, really? Like, I'm tired. Just taught all day, because that's been my main goal. Like, it was January, just trying to get through the day, trying to heal, trying to get better. And I was like, okay, I'll go home, I'll go look. And then sure enough, get on sam.gov, look at the contracts that are being offered, and there it is. I'm like, yep, that's perfect. Check, check, check. That is literally everything I'm trying to go after in my education consulting business and everything that I want to do. And then I look, due in 2 days. Like, 2 days meaning like the next day. I had that evening and the following evening, and then I had to have that turned in. So I told my husband, I was like, universe told me I have to apply for this contract and I have 2 days to do it. So let's hash this out. We hashed out a rough draft. I slept on it, because that's always been my rule for as long as I can remember, is I sleep on things, because things do come to me while I'm sleeping, because of astral projection and allowing things into my field and just the spirituality of sleeping. So I slept on it. Next day, tweaked it as to where I saw fit, because there were some tweaks that needed to be made that I learned in my sleep. And then I sent it in. And it was a whirlwind. And then it was due at 5 o'clock. I had turned it in. Plenty of time. I think I turned it in at lunchtime that day, because I was like, I just had it. And at 5:10, the email out, you didn't get the award. So and so was given the award. And I was, old me would have been like, what? Like, universe told me to do this. But at this case, and at this point in my spiritual journey, I was like, oh, I guess the universe just wanted me to practice how to write a really good proposal, and that was my chance, and I felt like I wrote a really good one. And it's just a learning thing. Let me just download that, save that. The great thing about government work is it tells you who was awarded it. So I like researched them, how much money. I did all of my research on them, and I was like, okay, that's good to know. Store it away, so when the next one comes up, I'll be ready to go. That's not what universe had planned. The universe told me I needed to apply for that contract because it was going to go to me. And lo and behold, a month later, did not expect this, was already denied from the contract. I got an email saying, congratulations, you've been awarded the contract. So universe had to go out, do its thing, make everything align, and I just had to make sure I listened. And so that's where it's like that spiritual alignment now is adding up to my success. So if you're getting intuitive pings, if universe is talking to you, your higher self is talking to you, if you're getting signs, do it. And what I've said to my husband is, he'll be like, oh, your intuition must have been wrong. Or he doesn't necessarily say that. He'll just be like, oh, maybe, who knows? And I tell him, no, I know exactly what it is. Universe just wanted to see if I was listening. Creator wanted to know if, hey, if I hand you this, are you going to take it seriously? Are you going to try to do it? Or are you just going to hem and haw about it? I took universe seriously. I applied. I did it. I got everything in a row on my end. then universe had to turn around and deliver on its end because it knew I took it seriously. And so I say that to you too. If you're getting these intuitive premonitions, pings, downloads, whatever you want to call them, however you connect spiritually, listen to them. And even if they don't pan out the way you thought, don't dismiss that either. Take that as, well, maybe just universe wanted to see if I was listening. Maybe there's lots more steps universe has to align. Because when you think about the things that universe and creator have to do to make things just right for you, there's so many little things that have to fall into place and align for all parties involved. And so sometimes that takes time to get everything in right alignment. And so don't give up on your intuition and the things that you're being told. Give them time. In that case, I got told no. So I just totally just like, oh, that's over. They said no. I'm really happy I learned all of that stuff that I read on the contract anyways, and I downloaded everything and I saved it. Because to me, it was a learning experience. I didn't get mad. I didn't say, oh, that was, why'd I waste that time? What was I thinking? My intuition was wrong. I was guided to the wrong. No, I didn't think any of that. Thankful for the experience, downloaded it and saved it on my computer. And I said, when I do the next one, now I know what I need to work on. And so, that was a sign to universe too. Like, how seriously is she taking this? Is she going to get mad? What is she going to do with the information if I tell her no after I told her to do it? And so I'm sure those things are happening for you as well in your journey. So those are the 5 things I didn't know were adding up to my success. My childhood curiosity, all of my teaching experience, the sabbatical I took, overcoming challenges, and spiritual alignment. And if those things are happening in your life, all of them matter. And that's the whole title of this episode. The things that you do matter. Nothing is pointless. Even if you feel like, why am I here? What am I doing? Why is this happening to me? Change that mindset to, this is happening for me. And what am I supposed to glean from this experience? What am I going to get out of it? And how is it going to serve me for my success later in life? Even if you don't know what that success is yet. Because I would have never guessed when I was young that I would be running my own business and doing education consulting and have my doctorates. Those were all things that I didn't know were coming, but all of the small things I did led up to that success. So all of the small things that you're doing right now, keep doing them. They are going to add up to the success that you already have. And make sure you're affirming that too. So that leads me to, I'm hearing from my guides, affirmations. Always affirming your experience and the work that you do. So if you need some right now, I am successful. All of the things that I do are divinely aligned to my success. And success is inevitable. So I'm going to leave you with some of those affirmations. Write them down. Say them every day when you wake up, before you go to bed. Affirmation work is a beautiful way to start affirming what is already in your realm. Thank you for listening to episode 39. I'm so grateful. Make sure you review this podcast, share it, let me know you're listening. A question I have from all of these things is, what small things are you doing right now? And do you think they're going to add to your success? Or do you already have a feeling you know where the success is going to lie in this small thing that you're doing? Thank you so much for listening, and I'll talk to you next time. Love you. Thank you for listening. Expand the life, healing, and happiness of others in your field by sharing this episode. You can get more of my content and other helpful tips by following, Raven Rabbit LLC on TikTok, Instagram, and Facebook. Be sure to comment on Spotify and answer the episode's question so I can keep creating content you love and desire. Thank you so much.